Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome to the Reaver Common Sense, where we cut through the propaganda, expose the absurd, and bring you the hard truth. Unfiltered, unapologetic, making sense out of the senseless, right here on SHR Media. Conservative media done right. And good evening to everybody in the chat already. We got Ricky Robinson. Thank you for being here. Mike Pasquale. I'm messing that last name up. I suck at names. The Phantom and Sackhead Sean is here. But I am your host, Jersey Joe. And tonight's show is loaded with the stories they hope you never hear. From corrupt elites to broken systems, tonight we bring it all to the surface. Please let me be clear. This isn't your average commentary show. This is your front line in the fight for truth. We're diving into the outrageous abuse of power by so-called public servants. The taxpayer scams they cover up, and the two-tiered system they built to protect themselves while everyday Americans foot the bill. From DC boardrooms to social media echo chambers, we're blowing the lid off their narrative with cold, hard facts. We'll uncover the backroom dealings, calling out the hypocrisy, expose the shameless spin the mainstream media pushes. No fluff, no filter, just the real stories they don't want you to know. So buckle up, folks. It's time to sharpen your common sense, because when the truth sounds like rebellion, you know the establishment is running scared. How the hell is everybody doing? How was your week? I actually had a okay week. We had some weather come in, so of course, pain. But I am here, and we are going to dive right into it with our first story. I'm going to start out and let you watch the video. So let's bring it up. Hey, and look, I got my screen corrected from last week because I'm an idiot. All right. This first one. Let's take a look at one of the most revealing pieces of undercover footage to drop recently. We're going to have two of them. This is a double segment on David Hogg. Activist David Hogg, during a covertly recorded conversation, admits that Joe Biden was not truly the one calling the shots in the White House. How you doing, buffoon of the week? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And this wasn't a joke or a conspiracy. It was a confession from a connected DC voice. Let's get to it.
Yes,
nice to meet you. Yeah.
Off the record, of course.
Foundational question for me is how corrupt is the DNC if so many people knew, or few people knew about Biden, the president of the United States?
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is the DNC is always going to be like a campaign arm of the president, ultimately. The bigger issue was the inner circle that was around Biden. That's it.
And I can't stress to you enough.
Joe Biden's chief of staff, had an enormous amount of power.
Joe Biden?
Joe Biden's chief of staff.
That was an open secret at the left. I would avoid him. He was scary.
What was his name?
Anthony Trump.
I've never seen him.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
He's just like a shadowy, Wizard of Oz type figure. That's what made him so I knew how he looked, but the general public wouldn't know how this man looked. But he wielded an enormous amount of power, and I can't stress to you how much power he had at the White House.
I want to thank Project Veritas for their videos that they have posted. It's unbelievable that this kid is stupid enough first to spill everything. And that's not the only video that they've put out so far. And I'm pretty sure there's more coming. But think about what this means. We've watched Biden repeatedly fumble, slur, freeze, and lose track of his thoughts on the public stage. We've seen staffers intervene in live events, handlers rush them off camera, and media questions cut short without explanation. This clip, this clip confirms that there's been someone else, or perhaps a shadow team, directing the country's policy, strategy, and communication. What I find amazing is that key word I just said, shadow team. And you've been hearing that out of the Democrats a lot more, shadow government. I wonder why. Because they're going to try to normalize that right now. They're going to try to normalize that term, or at least make it mean nothing. And what I mean by that is sort of like how they call everybody goddamn racist nowadays. And it's lost its, that grip, that punch that it used to have. If you got called racist a decade or two ago, you kind of shut down, slink back, and step out of the conversation. Now, it's just another word. They throw it around so much. So they're using that term shadow because that's going to be coming up a lot more over the next couple of years as our government investigates what was going on in the Biden administration. Because there was a shadow government running the country. It wasn't Biden. He was not mentally capable. It wasn't Kamala. She's not smart enough. And I don't think, as rumors have been put out there, that Elizabeth Warren was in charge of the Autopen. But this is going to get deep. People need to go to jail. People's lives, careers need to be ended. Well, not their lives shouldn't be ended. Excuse me, that came out wrong. Their careers need to be ended. It's unacceptable that we have unelected people making decisions while our president's sitting in the background going, when the fuck do we have ice cream? And that's all Biden was doing. He was put up in props. Why did they build a fake stage for him to go to? Why did they build a fake office for him? I never understood that. Why they had to build that fake office for them to film. Why weren't they able to do it in the regular office? The Oval Office. Why? Why did they keep him from the Oval Office? And I think that's one question nobody's been asking. I've heard all the, they built the fake stage, the fake Oval Office, and that's where they would film stuff for Biden. Why? Why did they build that? And Phantom says, I think they just wanted him to be the face while they worked in the background. Exactly. It came down to, I hate Trump. That's what it all came down to. It's just a hate for Trump. Like I said, that's not the only video that came out. All right, let me get this one set up. Sorry, I need to fire my producer. You know that? I think my producer is worse than BZ's. Oh. And let's stay on David Hogg for a moment because he didn't stop at Biden. He went straight for the jugular of his own party's elite, specifically Nancy Pelosi. In the same Project Veritas sting, Hogg slammed Pelosi 2 well-timed stock trades and declared that it's time to burn it all down. Yes, we're staying on the hog. We're going to ride this hog to the end. I know that didn't come out right. This guy, he for those that don't know, David Hogg was a quote-unquote survivor from a mass shooting down here in Florida school. I don't even believe he was there that day. And he's been out there banging the drums on the anti-gun. He's out there banging the drums on the anti-gun. He became a little poster child for the Democrat Party. He's now the co-DNC chair. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by chat, and that I need to remind everybody. If you want to join in on the conversation, just jump into YouTube Live, and that's where most chat going on, and that's the one that hooks up with the program I use. So that's the one I see nonstop as little smart ass comments like, but it's fun. So if you want to jump in, I don't care if you have a dissenting voice, jump on in. So let's get on with this video. Let me finish. He's the co-chair of the DNC party. They pretty much have already started throwing him out already. I mean, he's only been in there like, 2, 3, 4 months, and they're already popping him out. Oh, that's pretty bad that you're getting kicked out that quick. But it seems he's doing a lot of underhanded shit. There's a lot of other stuff that's coming out about what he was doing, dipping into files, downloading files, and using it to enrich himself. Which, where did he learn that from? The DNC.
Very good at her job. I don't agree with the stock trading stuff. I mean, she gets better returns than almost every hedge fund in this city. Every year. Some of these members of Congress make trades that are like way too well timed to not have like insider knowledge. They happen to be some of the best financial analysts in human history.
Have you spoken against that?
I've talked to them, but it's also like, I know that if I pick that fight, it's going to be harder for us to get gun control passed. So I have to pick my battle. Like the hardest part about my job is I just want to burn everything down because it's also corrupt. But you got to pick your battles and slowly build your momentum.
Joining us now, DNC.
He wants to burn it all down. He wants to get gun control through. And that's exactly, this kid he hates our Constitution. He hates our freedoms. He believes our government should control everything about our lives.
Vice Chair David Hogg.
We're not going to go after Pelosi. One, we wouldn't beat her, even if we wanted to. That's part of it. But two, it's an unnecessary fight to pick when there's other members that are far weaker. And I would say Pelosi's actually very good at her job. I don't agree with the stock trading stuff.
You don't?
No. Some of these members of Congress make trades that are like way too well timed to not have like insider knowledge about it. And it's a huge problem.
I know there's corruption, but I'm not going to go after it because, well, I don't want to pick that fight. But there's corruption, but we're going to ignore it.
Do you think that's how Pelosi is worth hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yes. I mean, she gets better returns than almost every hedge fund in this city. Every year.
And you don't think that has to change?
No, it does.
How would you change that?
You just ban members of Congress from owning stock.
So
have to put their assets in a blind trust.
You're going to prop up candidates who oppose that? Is that your goal, to prop up candidates?
I mean, in part, yeah.
Yeah. because it's a long haul. There's 435 members.
Yeah.
And most likely 430 of them are doing the same thing, which is why they don't want to. I don't know, but I'm just stating.
I think it's a pretty good guess.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Just conveniently. They happen to be some of the best financial analysts in human history.
Have you spoken against that?
I've talked to that, but it's also like, I know that if I pick that fight, it's going to be harder for us to get gun control passed, so I have to pick my battle. Like, the hardest part about my job is I just want to burn everything down, because it's all so corrupt. But you got to pick your battles and slowly build your momentum.
Well, I don't think he's going to be doing much anymore. His time is very short with the DNC. And yes, Second Sean, I agree with you 100% that I do not like her policies. I do not like her, pretty much anything about her, but she kept her party in order. She kept control of that, and she ruled with an iron fist. Nobody stepped out of the line. Well, until AOC came along, and then, I think by the time then she was ready to step down. She was ready to get the hell out of there. She's made the money. And I'm talking in leadership. It's the Democrat Party's in tatters right now. No one can tell me any difference. The party is in tatters. There's a lot of infighting going on, and it's spilling out into the news and into the public. They have no control. Hakeem Jeffries has no control over that party. No control. And Hogg accused Pelosi of enriching herself while Americans suffer, calling out the corruption that many on the right, and not even on the left, have been highlighting for years. His outburst exposes the growing civil war within the Democrat Party. The establishment figures are being rejected by the very youth activists they once propped up. Hogg would not be where he is if it wasn't for the likes of Nancy Pelosi and all the higher ups that used that kid as a prop. And they created this problem. They created it. And that's the thing with the Democrat Party. They got to stage everything. They got to create everything. They have nothing real. They got to pay for it. They got to enact it. And that's one of the big problems that I have with the party. It's not genuine. It's not real. And then it's just, it's not good for the American citizens. And that's where it comes down to. It is not good for the American citizens. Period. This kid, and when he got voted in, I said that was the best thing for the Republicans. AOC, Jasmine Crockett, they will do more damage to the Democrat Party than any Republican ever could do. Yeah, he's getting DEI'd out of his own party. I think he'll still land on his feet. I really do. There's a lot of things the Democrats have to do to fix that party. They're in trouble. And I love the rhetoric right now where they're screaming they're taking back the House, they're taking back the Senate in the midterm. Right now, I don't know if they could take back a KinderCare, let alone anything in the country. They need to get their act together, and they need to stop with some of the stupidity they're doing. But go ahead and keep going the way you are. You're only helping the Republicans.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ever dream of escaping the daily grind? At Escapist Travel and Tours, we make those dreams your reality. From breathtaking adventures to cultural immersions, we offer escapes tailored just for you. Let us take you to places where every moment feels like a new chapter in your life's adventure. Visit www.escapist.travel or call us today at 1-855-885-81776. Your escape awaits.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
What is the Edge of Liberty? News, politics, commentary, sarcasm, alcohol, and high blood pressure. It's as American as a good revolution. So tune in every Monday and Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. on the East Coast on the SHR Media Network and KLRN Radio. For details, visit www.shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless right here on SHRmedia.com. Conservative media done right. You can catch me on all of our social media from Twitch to Facebook to X and YouTube. All right, let's see. What do we got up next? What do we have up next? I think I know what I got up next. Oh. Let me get the video. I should have had this ready for during the break, but all right. What we're going to bring up next is there we are. The Democrats are now threatening Elon Musk. And if they retake the House, we heard, I think it was on Monday, I talked about how they're making the threat that if they retake the House, that they're going to investigate Trump's family. Now they're threatening that they're going to investigate Elon Musk. How you doing, big girl? Thank you for being here. And again, if you want to join the conversation, just go to YouTube. Jump in the chat. It's always hopping. There's always good conversations. Trying to go through the chat real quick. And this is exactly right. You never stop your adversary when they are ruining themselves. And I agree with Sean, too. They will hide him for an election cycle or two and put him back out there. That's their MO. They've done it time and time again. Oh, we got Big Earl in the chat room. Thank you for being here. All right, that caught us up on the chat. Well, what's up next is Greg Casar, however, Democrat from Texas. Man, what is it with Texas lately with some of their elected officials? And then it goes Republican and Democrat both are a little wonky out of Texas. Is something in the water, Earl? I mean, I'm looking at you, buddy. But they didn't even try to hide it. He said the quiet part out loud. If the Democrats take back the House, because what was Elon Musk trying to do? Save Americans some money. Fight out the fraud, the waste. Well, that took money out of the Democrats' parking lot, out of their pocket. And they don't like it. So they're going to fight back. They're going to attack. And this wasn't a vague innuendo. It was a direct threat. Casar initially laid out a political hit list and confirmed what many Americans fear, that our institutions are being weaponized for partisan revenge. The Democrats did it for 4 years under Biden, attacking anybody that was attached to President Trump, and including Trump. We all know that. We saw it. We watched the videos. We had FBI agents going through Melania Trump's underwear drawer, not thinking that Trump would have that place wired up with cameras. This is a sitting member of Congress openly suggesting that they'll investigate and prosecute a private citizen, not for any new crime, not because of evidence, but because of a political difference in influence. The message is loud and clear. Dissent will be punished. And it's not just this gentleman. It is here. Let me go to the video real quick. Pop that up. And he's already stepped down. He's already stepped down. And what's funny is I've seen Democrats out there. We fired him. We fired him. No, you didn't. He legally had to step down. They said he would be stepping down. And that's exactly what he did. There's also Suhas Subramaniam. I'm butchering that name too. Another Democrat is saying the same thing. Let me get back. Let's finish this. So they're going to go after George Soros? Alex Soros? They only are going to go after the ones that stand against them. That is not justice. That is corruption. I can go on with name calling on what it is, but everybody knows exactly what it is. Un-American. And the Democrat Party is going so down far in this rabbit hole. It's fucking scary. Here, I want to pull up this other one. Just so I can pull his name up, because I'm not even going to attempt to say this gentleman's name. Well, I tried once, and I know I butchered it. Democrat representative, whatever that is.
Is that information, should you get it, going to tell you?
Yeah, I want to know the guests. I want to know what they got out of it, what they gave to get there. Actually was down the street from where I live in Loudoun County, and there was a lot of protesters outside. I couldn't help but notice
There's a lot of
the guests even wore
protesters.
masks.
Who the fuck cares? I'm so sick of it. Well, there's protesters. That proves that this is wrong. No, it proves that you pay people to go to these events and start shit. But when it happens to Democrats, they throw a fucking hissy fit. Leave it to Sean. Leave it to Sean. And they complain about masks nowadays. Holy shit, they were pushing masks for how long? They still wear them, but now it's wrong for police. It's wrong that, yes, there were some people that did not want to be doxxed that were going to that dinner. They did not want to get doxxed, so they wore a mask. Because Democrats will ruin people's lives over political differences.
So they couldn't be identified. And so, this is part of a trend in this administration of just corruption out in the open. Like, they're not even trying to hide it. And it's just really frustrating. And Republicans on the Oversight Committee don't seem like they want to investigate it or hold this administration accountable at all, even when it's corruption.
Wasn't this the party that sat back and has done nothing about Biden and his corruption, about Biden and his son? Nothing. Perfectly quiet. And now all of a sudden, you want me to think you care about justice, you care about corruption. No, you don't like that the Republicans are succeeding. The Republicans have some power, and you have none. And your ratings are going down the toilet. They keep going down, and you're making it worse.
That if a Democrat did it in office would be completely unacceptable to anyone.
David.
Again, we will go to Hunter Biden, Burisma, his father threatening Ukraine to pull funding. The text messages. We have the evidence. And these Democrats act like it's not out there and like they are some fucking choir boys.
From in the Atlantic today, his piece was titled "The Trump Presidency's World Historical Heist," and just talked about just kind of from the first Trump administration to this one, just the ways in which he has enriched himself for his businesses. For example, in the first administration,
All right, I thought this had to deal more with threats. I'm not going to go through the whole video. But what it comes down to is these idiots are out there threatening a billionaire. This is not the first time he's had a government go after him. He's had Europe going after him for a while now because he is not backing down about Europe. So the only thing they're doing by any of these threats going out there is they're showing their ass. They're showing what they truly are about. As I said, Caesar isn't alone. His threats are echoed by other Democrats who also suggest Musk has committed crimes and should be pursued once power shifts back their way. The pattern is clear: use of lawfare to silence political enemies. And then when you have Democrats breaking the law on video, they cry that it's political retribution. The hypocrisy from the left. It just is disgusting. And let's not forget what this means for the average citizen. If powerful lawmakers are willing to go after someone like Musk for opposing them, what's stopping them from turning those tactics on everyday Americans? This is about setting a precedent for political prosecution. This isn't about Musk. This is about using power as a club to silence those who challenge you. Nothing more, nothing less. Now we're finding out new findings reveal President Biden had no knowledge of several climate-related executive orders because they were signed by the Autopen without his direct awareness. That's not just a sloppy governance. That's a constitutional crisis. Democrats run around constantly screaming constitutional crisis. This is it. We have a presidential administration. Yeah, I could have. I know. I'm waiting for it to pop up on my program, and I'll throw it up for everybody to see. Yes, I could have stopped the sentence. President Joe Biden had no clue, but we had to go further with that sentence. It's a constitutional crisis. No matter which way you look at it, we had a government, an administration that the elected president was not running the show, was nowhere to be found. You had people creating documents and having the Autopen sign it. Now, the question I'm going to pose before getting back on subject, for the sake of the argument, all this is true. He had no knowledge of this. Who is that Supreme Court justice? He Brown, was it, that he nominated? Does that throw that into question? I saw that on X today, and I don't think it does, because he was out there in interviews talking about it. I think that was his nomination. But a lot of stuff in that administration that went through. What happens to all the executive orders and all that shit that was done? What happens to it when it's proven that it was an Autopen without the presidential knowledge of them being signed? Did they become null and void now? Will we actually, as a government, go after those people for criminally prosecute them? What's more disturbing is the lack of outrage from the very people who once claimed that democracy dies in the darkness. Who's issuing orders in Biden's name without his input? If the president isn't fully aware of what's being signed on his behalf, then who is running the executive branch? And the Constitution spells it out pretty good. Who runs the executive branch? This is a fundamental breakdown in leadership and transparency. And the silence from legacy media is deafening. Can you imagine the response if a Republican president was caught rubber stamping executive orders they hadn't read? This isn't just about governance. It's about trust, legality, and the danger of unelected bureaucrats taking the wheel of national policy. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ever dream of escaping the daily grind? At Escapist Travel and Tours, we make those dreams your reality. From breathtaking adventures to cultural immersions, we offer escapes tailored just for you. Let us take you to places where every moment feels like a new chapter in your life's adventure. Visit www.escapist.travel or call us today at 1-855-885-81776. Your escape awaits.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
What is the Edge of Liberty? News, politics, commentary, sarcasm, alcohol, and high blood pressure. It's as American as a good revolution. So tune in every Monday and Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. on the East Coast on the SHR Media Network and KLRN Radio. For details, visit www.shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, here to make sense out of the senseless, right here on shrmedia.com. Conservative media done right. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show right here on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch. You can even catch it on podcast through, Spreaker, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and all your favorite podcast locations. Oh, boy. All right, this is the last segment, and then the weekend officially starts. I think it's just going to be nap time when I get done here. I know what I got to do this weekend. I got a lot of minis to paint. Got a lot of minis backed up to get done. So, all right. What do we got next? What do we have next? Here's a legal bombshell the mainstream media is quietly tiptoeing around. Former assistant New York Solicitor General Brian Ginsburg filed a petition with the United States Supreme Court on May 12, 2025. Excuse me. Accusing Attorney General Letitia James of misusing her prosecutorial authority in a Title IX lawsuit against the Niagara Wheatfield Central School District. Surprise, surprise. The lawsuit revolves around 4 separate incidents of alleged student-on-student sexual misconduct. But Ginsburg says this isn't about justice. It's about political grandstanding. He argues that James improperly invoked the legal doctrine of Princess Parte. I'm butchering it, and I know I am. Let's see. That, which allows state AGs to sue on behalf of citizens. Sorry about that. And that's, this woman, number one, she campaigned on get Trump. And her attacks are not justice. And the Democrats are not about justice anymore. They're about suppression of freedoms, attacking dissidents of political ideology. But the thing is, the catch, that doctrine is meant for cases impacting a broad portion of the population, not isolated local incidents like these. In his petition, Ginsburg is sounding the alarm on what he calls a dangerous overreach. He's asking the Supreme Court to draw a line in the sand to prevent opportunistic attorney generals from weaponizing state power for political purpose. And he didn't stop there. Ginsburg reminded the court that this isn't James's first offense. In 2024, a New York Supreme Court justice slammed her for launching a politically charged lawsuit against PepsiCo, calling it a predatory lawsuit that seeks to impose punishment while searching for a crime. Where have we heard her doing that before? I just can't put my finger on it. It seems that is her MO. I wonder too. It's really starting to feel, well, it's past starting to feel. We have a double standard in this country. And these people are above the law anymore. But you know whose fault that is? Ours. Night, Mike. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. It's our fault. We allowed it over the years to happen. We stayed silent. We didn't do anything. And now it's out of control. And to try to bring it back in control, that's going to be the real big fight. And I don't know, is this country able to return back to par for course the way it was? I don't think it can. And our politicians are showing it time and time again. Time and time again. But this petition doesn't just question one case. It questions the growing trend of politically motivated lawfare. It's a call for judicial oversight and a clear definition of boundaries before legal doctrines are twisted into political weapons. Now, this is the one that made me, this is just a big joke. Talk about wasting money. Wasting money. That seems to be the main theme of Democrats. They want to control the finances of the United States. They want to make citizens justify all their money. But then Democrat Party just dropped $20 million on what they call an American Men Strategy Plan, aimed at reclaiming votes from a from a group of people they've steadily lost, men. But here's the kicker. The study itself reads like it was written by people who don't know or like American men at all. It's pure political desperation. They know they're bleeding support among working class men, especially white, Hispanic, and even growing number of black men. So they're throwing money at consultants, PR firms, think tanks to figure out why. And here's a hint. Men are tired of being blamed for everything. I wish I should have saved it. You should ought to see the picture from the woman that they hired that's going to save the Democrat Party. She's going to bring the men back. And I think it's going to cause men to run the other way. Also, don't forget a side note. Go to shrmedia.com. Zach and Sean's been putting up an article every week. This week in D.C., all the major political policy headlines from D.C. this week: Trump tariffs, NPR lawsuit, court rulings, and Capitol Hill moves. So go to SHR Media. Don't forget, if you want to watch the show, you can go to shrmedia.com and watch all the great shows, past shows, and live shows from our website. The Democrat messaging has been toxic, accusing men of systematic oppression, toxic masculinity, and privilege. Now they're trying to rebrand as allies of the very people they've demonized for years. Too little, too late. They've been attacking men, white people specifically, for years now. Everything is our fault. We must back down. We must bow down. And now they want our vote. How do you attack people? Hillary should know. She was the queen and she still does it. Attacking the American people and expect us to vote for you. Hey, BZ. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I'm going to jump around because it's getting close to the end. And this one really, I don't want to say pissed me off, but got under my skin. NPR is suing the Trump administration because he is pulling funding from them. And they're claiming First Amendment rights are being violated. NPR is throwing a tantrum after Trump cut their taxpayer funding. They filed a lawsuit, and Robert Reich is crying censorship, but the truth is simple. Public radio became partisan, and it lost its privilege. The First Amendment protects free speech, press, religion, assembly, and petition. It does not guarantee taxpayer funding for any media outlet, including public radio. It ensures the government can't restrict speech, not that it must finance it. You want to push progressive propaganda? Pay for it yourself. If your content can't survive without government handout, maybe it's not the content Americans want or need. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for, that's the damn name. Let me see if I can find. Well, you know, they'll have the videos coming up soon. She changed my mind. I'm voting Democrat because. Listen, before I put it up, I'm a fat fuck. I know it. I have no problem with it. But this is the woman they say is going to switch men to vote Democrat. Hang on, I'm pulling it up. And I'm not trying to pick on it, but this screams Democrat Party and how out of touch and how out of the reality they are. This is the woman that's going to switch. Men back to switch are voting Democrat. It's not going to happen, people. Now, I'm not trying to pick on the woman, but She's not going to convince me to start voting Democrat to destroy the country. But this NPR lawsuit is ridiculous. It's not a free speech. It's not a First Amendment. It's not free press. The administration is not saying they can't report the news. They can't do the news. It says you don't get taxpayer money to do it. They haven't been partisan as they're claiming. We're partisan. We're bipartisan. Bipartisan. No, you're not. I've known that since I was in high school. You guys weren't. And I wasn't in the political realm way back then. You have been one-sided. You have been state-sponsored media. Oh, shit. I just noticed the time. Damn. Is there any other? Real quick, I want to go over the Hawaii has added a $100 million green fee for tourists. That's right. If you go to Hawaii, you're going to get an extra tax to pay for climate change. Visiting Hawaii get ready for a new tax. So-called green fee will hit every tourist to fund climate projects. The new law requires visitors to pay a $20 fee when they book lodging, rent a vehicle, or take part in tourist activities. The funds, we're told, will be directed towards their pockets. Sustainable initiatives, a vague phrase that's becoming catch-all for more bureaucracy and more spending. Can someone explain how taxes are going to prevent global warming? How paying more in taxes is going to stop the quote-unquote global warming? As they're now predicting, again, we're going to go into an ice age soon. Surprise, surprise. All right, everybody. But I just wanted to throw that one out there. Hawaii has gone absolutely... Thanks, BZ. Finally, someone recognized the SHR Media butt cap on my mic. Ooh, that was a Facebook notification for the show. Oh, and real quick, the FBI is reopening a bunch of cases that were closed, and one of them being the cocaine found in the White House. But that's tonight's truth-telling marathon, folks. We've cracked the shell wide open from political revenge, threats to media meltdowns, from taxpayers' abuse to full-on constitutional chaos. And don't be fooled. These aren't just isolated headlines. These are deliberate patterns in a system of corruption that the mainstream media desperately hopes you never connect. But we do, and we will. And now I want to hear from you. What story hit the hardest? What are your friends and neighbors still clueless about? What do you want us to dig into next? Drop a comment. Tag me on X at Jersey Joe Talks, or jump into the live chat on the next show. Because I don't just talk to the crowd. I talk with you. We're not just building an audience here. We're building a movement of informed Americans who refuse to be gaslit. And if you want more truth without filter, SHR Media has your back. BZ Bobcat Saloon Radio Show, hosted by BZ himself, Tuesday and Thursday, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 a.m. No, it's 11, isn't it? Yeah, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then there's me, Reaver of Common Sense, right here with SHR Media on Mondays and Fridays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Edge of Liberty with Sackhead Sean, Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Biggie Jackson, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and 12 noon on the East Coast. I'll throw up this one last thing, and then we're going to head out. Secret Service whistleblower said Biden would get lost in his closet at the White House. Sort of like my wife when she drives. So until next time, stay sharp, stay free, stay loud. This is Jersey Joe signing off from the Reaver of Common Sense. Have a great fucking weekend.